welcome to another episode of Toro Podcast, and welcome to a new year.
Happy New Year. We're back.
We are back.
We're back. After another good workout, we had a nice break.
Nice break.
Yeah. I had to like straight 2 weeks of nothing. Actually, one day I all I did was like stare at the wall for like 2 hours, and it was everything I thought it could be. My mind was completely blank. It was great.
See, I can't do that.
I count it as meditation.
I don't even like to wake up and stay in bed. I like to wake up and get up.
Yeah.
I can't do monotonous.
Like to the point where you're almost fully awake, but you kind of stumble a little, and then catch yourself, and then you're awake.
No, I just as soon as I open my eyes, it's like okay.
You're like
time to
Marine
get
Corps awake. You're like, hoorah! You like levitate out of the bed and like throw the covers off with your elbows, like they've been
No.
bothering you all night.
No, it's just okay. I'm awake. Let's get up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of I don't. So yeah, I also had a break from work
Yeah,
and trained a lot. Went to
you have
class a
been
lot.
hitting it hard, man.
Yeah.
You're with training. You're at jiu-jitsu. You're getting like tough. Like you're tough. Like you don't turn lights on when you walk in a room. You turn off the dark.
No, it's just scratching the surface.
You chip away a little bit at a time at it,
Moving the
and
needle.
yeah,
Yeah,
move the
that's all.
needle, man.
But yeah, like it's fun. But yeah, I mean, since I had the time, I was able to make it to morning classes,
That's cool. Yeah.
which is really cool, and just stay there until they kick me out, pretty much.
So they have like just like open practice, or
So morning classes is like hour and 15 minutes class, and then open mat for another 2 hours or so.
mm-hmm.
So for like 3 hours, I was training, and then would come back at night. My son does his class, and in the back, me and some of the dads who also train would go and drill a little bit, and then some nights I would double or triple it up and take the night adult class also. So yeah, just trying to get as much rep in since I had the time.
when they like call like open mat and like sparring is on, are you like, who wants a piece? Like in your mind, you're like, come get some.
No, it's really friendly. You can go
I
against.
I got it. Yeah.
I mean, you could go against like newer white belts, and of course you're just trying to like basically, easily pass and try to get the technique down and just try to get the submissions, restart, slap bump. It's very friendly. Or you can go against brown belt, black belts, and
Really
you
test, see what it's like. Yeah.
I get freaking submitted, 30 times in a 6-minute round. It's,
Yeah.
it's no joke. It's funny because it's like there's levels, right?
Mhm.
Like there's just levels to this. And you can go against a 110-pound, girl and kicking your ass or
I saw a video on YouTube like that. Like this girl was like a black belt, and all these other guys, like bigger guys, and the instructor was like, I guarantee like 6 times in 30 seconds you'll tap out.
yeah.
And like this little girl was crushing them.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, it's all about technique, and size matters. Like
Yeah.
being bigger, definitely, like, if I want to, I could, like, freaking, just pick her up and throw her or something like that. But, like, it's not happening.
So
That's not
you're saying
cool,
body slamming is allowed?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh.
just because I can doesn't mean that I,
So it's not
or
like,
if I'm going against somebody who's smaller, and all the stuff that we have, 130-pound, competitors and all this stuff, or like people who just joined, I'll just go and pull guard, meaning I start on the ground. I don't play tough game and crush them with my weight, like, because that's just not doing jiu-jitsu. That's using your body as a weapon almost. Like,
yeah, in my mind, I was seeing like, Friday Night SmackDown. Like, does
very, very
anyone get
friendly.
picked up off the ground?
What do you mean?
Like if you're playing, like when you're starting positions, right? Are you standing, or is it like wrestling where one person kneels like after the first?
So there's a couple game rules, right? Like you start standing, right? And you can pull guard, meaning you have to make contact with the person as you sit down, and then basically guard, and as they engage, you do the game, right? The person can pull guard, and you can play top game, or you both pull guard, and that's called a double pull, and then you both start going for legs, um, cutting the angle, different stuff like that, or you both stand and wrestle until somebody goes to the ground and then engage into jiu-jitsu. There's that's kind of the ways.
So is it like are there like are there people who are better on the ground versus better than
Oh yeah,
like
there's this whole controversy going on right now because Fury 7 or 9, I forgot which one it was. It was just in Philly not long ago. It's like it was in UFC Fight Pass, and this guy, he pulled guard. So the guy did not want to engage. He was like, "Oh, butt scooter," because you're sitting on your butt. It's like, "Oh, this is all kinds of stuff." Like he's like slamming the person for pulling guard. And it's like, well, if you can't pass, then why is it your fault? Like if you're just gonna pull guard, then engage. If you're gonna end up on the ground anyway doing jiu-jitsu, why is it so bad that the person pulled guard?
right. So is it like so in the UFC though? Like, aren't you like if they like go right to the ground? Because I've seen that. Like, how hard is it to just run up and stomp on their face?
I mean, jiu-jitsu doesn't have any stumping.
I know, but I'm saying you mentioned UFC, so I'm thinking I've seen guys want to just immediately go to the ground because that's where they're strongest
So
at.
this is UFC Fight Pass, which is just another kind of streaming platform.
Oh,
right.
okay.
But they
There's no face stomping in
No.
jiu-jitsu.
It's a jiu-jitsu match, and the guy pulled guard.
Because I was just thinking, like, if a dude laid down on the ground and I was forced to fight him and I didn't know jiu-jitsu, like, it would be a big man
There's
stomp.
another one called combat jiu-jitsu where you're allowed to slap.
Really?
It's hilarious.
Oh man.
So there you really see like what works and what doesn't work, right? Sure, you can pull guard and all that stuff, but you need lots of frames and all that to make sure that the person doesn't come close and all that. But yeah,
I suggest we make a new form of jiu-jitsu and combat jiu-jitsu with fireworks, where you start out by shooting fireworks at each other. Then it turns into a slap boxing match. Then you get your ground game in. Imagine how distracting it is to have a Roman candle shot at your face before someone runs up and tries to smack you.
yeah, I don't think that's
What's up,
right.
homie?
Well, you know,
Yo,
oh,
we
what's
got
up, man?
Piero on the house.
Switching up the day on me,
Yeah.
knowing damn well I don't pay attention to text messages like that.
Yeah,
guys
you
are talking
do.
about,
You-
we're gonna work out.
We
we're
did.
gonna do this. I'm like, I didn't catch that. Oh, they're gonna be working out on Saturday, so obviously they're gonna do the pod. So my bad. I'm an idiot.
You're good.
It's all good, dude.
Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys.
We were just talking jiu-jitsu, and I suggested Jose told me there's combat jiu-jitsu where slap boxing is allowed, and then I suggested that we add
Like do
fireworks
jiu-jitsu while
into
slapping and all that.
New sport.
No,
Exactly.
There is already. There is.
Oh, they're already. Well,
Yeah.
the slap boxing for sure.
Well, slap boxing is different, but like jiu-jitsu, combat jiu-jitsu is like you do jiu-jitsu, but you're allowed to strike with open hand.
Ooh. Yeah. I don't
Dude,
know.
all
I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
is my wife would beat me in that. It's just no joke, man. With an open hand smack, she has like the physics
Sounds
of it
like
down.
you had a couple.
Yeah, I have, man.
Did she hit you with one?
If you had to live with me 24 hours a day, do you
I
not
would
think
smack you
either of you would want to open hand smack me at some point?
All right, I could see it now.
Yep, you're right. So, New Year, new us. Do you guys do resolutions?
I only do so I do 2 resolutions. I do one that I intentionally break like the day after because, I'm a rebel. And then another one is like, something that I know I can achieve, like another calorie deficit, like trying to lose it. So 20 pounds I think is doable. That's my resolution, and I'm back on it already.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Pierre?
So I usually
gain 20 pounds.
gain 20 pounds, gain 30 pounds. So I usually don't do them, but this year I did. So what I'm gonna work on is not is focus more on the fam and not spend like 10 to 12 to 14 hours a day working. So and I'm committed to it. So like 5 p.m. I gotta be out.
I'll
So
keep
that's
you
one
honest,
thing I'm
dude.
working on.
We kind of got
Yeah,
off the
you are.
ball. I was trying to do that. Like,
I know.
I would text him. I would like, dude, why are you still at work?
Yeah.
I would take a
Yeah.
picture of me already walking the dogs or in the gym. Be like, it's time. It's time to be done. We'll
Yeah,
take
you
it
try.
seriously every day.
I'm very much happy that like I going on, like basically I had people who, like in my career they were like, oh, you can start a rental and you can do this and you can do that, and it's just like work more, and I was like, I got growing kids. I'd rather spend time with them.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is, man.
Yeah.
It's and then you see over time, like
It's
like
worth
I
it.
could have been, I could have. It's worth it, right? And
Yeah.
then you can't get time back. So
That's amazing.
And
Great
here's
resolution. Yeah.
it is. That's a
Yeah.
great one. And here's the thing that helped me because I used to just always the research would be consistent and it would follow me. We have smartphones, so there's nothing I can't learn at any given time, but it distracts me from what I should be focusing on, which is either family time or whatever else that I was doing.
Yeah.
It's knowing and it's two things, right? It's being able to step away from something undone, knowing it can be
Yes.
done tomorrow and feeling comfortable that it's going to be done tomorrow, that you can do it tomorrow. And two, realizing that you're in a point in your career where answers and problem solving comes easier, right? They're not super difficult, but you can get to a answer within a certain time frame and push
Yeah.
the needle forward. You have to be comfortable with those two things.
That's
it's the walking away for me.
Yeah.
It's the walk. It's
That's hard for
leaving
everyone.
something undone. The first.
I
one.
saw
Yeah.
something the other day that totally relatable. It was like this guy was like living with ADHD, and it said, like it's easier for me to get done something that is hard than it is something that is easy and monotonous. It's like,
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Do you get that too?
Yeah.
Like for me, something that is challenging and really, really hard, I pour every second. I'm like, I'm
'Cause
gonna
you're
find
interested.
a solution.
'Cause you wanna figure it
I wanna
out,
Figure
yeah.
it out. And so whereas something that's like, okay, I gotta get it done, and I know it's gonna take me like maybe, an hour tops to maybe finish it. It'll take me 4
Procrastinate.
hours because it's like I get pulled and I get easily distracted and I let it pull me. Because
shiny
I'm
things.
like, yeah, it's shiny.
The shiny
things.
things.
And it's totally true. I'm totally out there for that.
That's
Well,
the nature
and-
of like problem solving though. Like the harder stuff garners interest. Interest equals time
Yeah.
and focus.
Yeah.
But I like it though. Like it
I-
pulls me in.
I'm-
Like, oh yes.
When-
like when somebody comes to me with like a prod support or something like that, that's like nobody figured it out, and I'm like, challenge accepted. I got it.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah.
figure it out really quick. You have no idea how.
Good to
friggin-
know, man.
oh,
There's
I
like
love
5
it.
things on my
Like when
list that I'm going to
Roger
clue you in.
breaks stuff.
Well,
His team didn't do something, and I figured out and fixed it for them. Just throwing that out there.
It's that dopamine rush, right?
It
that you
is.
get. Well, it's like gambling, right? When you win. Well, same thing. When you solve like a complex issue,
It
it's
is
like you get
dopamine.
that.
Yeah.
You get that rush. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
I
that
didn't know
rush.
you were secretly fixing issues. Now I'm just going to take some more points away and say, listen, just don't even try with that. Just give. So actually, you know what? You actually
Once you get fired
showed
by
me
the
like
end of
you showed me a few times how much you know, and someone said something about policies, and the next word out of my mouth was talk to Jose. He knows everything about it. Talk to Jose. If there is a way with it, he knows it or will find it for sure because no one can figure it out. And I was like, talk to Jose.
Yeah.
It'll be all good. We'll figure it out.
But yeah.
You're a goat, dude. You're the goat. You and Pierre are both goats.
Nah,
That's what I tell everyone. I say, listen, if you guys need the hardest thing in the world done, go to Jose or Piero.
Yeah, you'll be disappointed because I love fixing, but what I love more is teaching it to others so they can fix it themselves.
I'm game, man. I'll sit with you.
that's
I always try and learn it so we can
Yeah.
not make the mistake again and teach everybody about it. Because the worst thing in the world is when you learn how to fix something difficult and you're the only one that knows how to do it, then it becomes monotonous
I
to
used
keep
to work
doing
with
it.
this guy, and he was like the expert in this one application, and he didn't go anywhere for like 15 years. The same application because he was the expert, and
Yep.
nobody else knew it.
Yeah.
And I swore, like at the beginning of my career, I swore I was never gonna be that. That whatever I learn and I put it, I have to teach it to somebody else and make sure that I'm not the only one that knows it. You know, I never want to get stuck being the expert of this. It's like, yes, I know how to do it, but I am 100% on time. I'll make time to teach it to other people.
Well, and ultimately you end up gaining time for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because now you can offload it, or guess what? They're not calling you while you're on vacation. Like
Yeah.
Jose's the only one that can fix this,
Yeah.
right? So,
100%.
nah, it's all good.
But yeah, going back to resolutions, what about you? Oh, you said.
Yeah, it's just the calorie deficit, and then it's second year into my new role. I have just a massive amount of things I learned over the first year. Now it's going to be like making those rock solid.
Yeah. Nice.
What about you, Jose?
Definitely losing weight is there. I mean, it's kind of like cliche, but the only reason I, just be more mobile. That's for me. So I'm doing a lot of stretching, hip mobility, shoulder
Nice.
mobility, get it, better, and then losing weight is part of it.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, look, you're doing jujitsu. I mean, you're
No,
working out. I mean,
I'm flexible, but I'm not mobile. So
Right.
like I can bring my knees to my chest and bring this whole thing like up here, but I can't leave it there without like slowly like pulling away because I don't have the mobility. Or like there's so many things that I want mobility for.
so how are you gonna achieve it though? Like you
No,
got a game plan?
I'm doing stuff for it. Like I'm doing like stretching, mobility exercises, and all that stuff. So less weight, in some of the exercises, and more focus on the mobility. Today we did like a lot of, just grab a 30-pound dumbbell and just small stabilization exercises like
Yeah.
dipping down on the knees and stuff like that. That doesn't require loads of weight or anything. It's more
Ru-
stability and mobility.
Small weight, high reps, intense cardio. It's like the
Dude,
torture
the
chamber.
cardio
Like it's
part of it. It was crazy.
it's
Really
it's difficult.
Really
That's
fun.
all I do is the stretching. And the push-ups, right? To just so I don't get mushy. But Raj and I were just talking about you. I was like, Jose's like a tank, man. You're super stocky. I was like, I feel bad for whoever he gets in his grips because it's like it's game over. You know?
No, yeah, no. I'm stocky and all that stuff, but like yeah, like I'm just not. I've always struggled with weight. Like it's been up and down for me for a long time. At my
Yeah.
highest, I've been 250 pounds. At my good weight is probably 180, 175, and I'm at 5'5". So 175, it's like I'm lean, I'm bulk, like kind of like big up here. It's always been kind of broad shoulders, but yeah, then I think if I can get to like 175, 180, I'm cool.
I'm just looking for 225.
225.
6'3", 225. Like
Nice.
that I'll see once I get there, see what it's like. But
Yeah,
I don't think that's unreasonable.
it's not.
Yeah, I think it's a doable. As I try and the other thing with resolutions or goals, like, try and set it so it's achievable.
Yeah. So last year, my goal was to play chess every single day, and I did it
You did.
every single day.
That's awesome.
I did. Let me see.
You like 1,492 games or something. I think I saw
More, like
more.
4,000.
Was it 4?
No,
It was
wait,
4,200.
wait. I got it out here. It was 2,500 games.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
So
That's a lot. What's your rating?
I suck. 1,000.
Well, it depends on
Better
time,
than
right?
mine.
If they're 24-hour games, you get a little higher. If they're
No.
5-minute games or lower.
So I thought I was like, oh, look at that, 2,500 games. Like I'm gonna, I'm really cool. I showed it to my friend. He had like 4,500 games,
Wow.
but he plays like bullet, like so it's so easy to rack up
Yeah.
that many games. But yeah, like that was my resolution. I wanted to learn how to play chess,
Mm-hmm.
play it every single day. So now chess is, even though I'm still playing it every day, but is gonna take a backseat of what I want to concentrate
Mm-hmm.
on. And I've been tracking my meals, been stretching, and also read more, listen to more books. So first book of the year, got it down, all done. Warm at the Core.
Mm-hmm.
Ever heard of that one?
No, what is it? Worm at the core?
At the Core.
No.
It's really good, and it came at a good time for me. I've had it in my library for a while. I heard about it. I forgot how or where, but I downloaded right away, and it was sitting in my library. And I we had our friend Chuck passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Chuck.
And
Yeah.
it really hit me. I mean, like every time, since it happened, just thinking about it, and my wife sometimes will be like, what's going on? You seem like you're deep in thought, and we would talk about it, and it just like kind of like this whole thing of like working again, going back to what you were saying, right? Like it's like it feels like just when you're ready to retire and all this stuff, and then something like that hits. And we had also my brother-in-law passed this year of cancer, and he was also like 64, 65. And it was like, man, like this whole relationship with death, how I'm processing everything. And then we went to the funeral, and we had the pamphlets, and I had it by the entrance of the door. And every time I would go out, I was seeing it, and it would remind me again and remind me again, right? And then I picked up the book. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start reading, and just picked the random one that was sitting in my, and it turned out to be a book on humans and their relationship with death and how we deal with things. And it's really, really amazing. Like really put it into perspective of like even judges, the way that they sentence people, if they think about their demise, like their death before sentencing, how does it affect the sentencing for the same crime? And it's crazy. Like it's a really good book, and the whole thing of Warm at the Core is that we all have a fighting kind of thing of like we want to keep surviving, we want to keep living, and even a worm, when you take it off the ground and split it in half to put bait onto a hook, is still like struggling, is still trying to get away, right? So it's still fighting. So that's where the title comes from. But so far it's been a good read, and really made me kind of not have so much anxiety over that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, so it's. I'm actually glad to hear you say that, because that's the exact reason where mine came from. My New Year's resolution, same thing,
Yeah.
same exact thing. I felt terrible that I couldn't make it there. We had the flu run through the entire house, but yeah, it was the same thing. I was definitely struggling with, and it wasn't just Chuck. Obviously other things going on too, but.
Yeah.
But same thing. It just happens so quick, and time is precious, right? And how you spend it is it's important.
It is.
So there's something
Yeah.
Piero told me that stayed with me. I wrote it down. Is that the only people that are ever going to remember that you worked late are your family.
Yep.
Right. That's an important one. That's an important thing. The other thing with death is it doesn't hit you until a little bit later on in life when you're mature enough to understand the concept of mortality.
Yeah.
And how it relates to you, that it's about the journey and not the end. That's a hard thing to wrap your mind around. You kind of, so I've in my life, I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost friends young as a, like 19 years old, very close friends. It was shocking. To car accidents. I've lost family members. I lost both my parents are gone. And that was tough to watch, you know, and do that. And then like, you know, mentors,
Yeah.
like Chuck just like it's the difficult part is then understanding how that fits into your concept of life. And then you start thinking, the hardest part about it is when you start thinking, what if I outlive my wife? What if I, you know, what if something happens? Like, the what if game is a game I learned never to play because I just have to live in each day,
rabbit hole.
every day.
Yeah.
Like, the rabbit hole is only acceptable for technology questions in my mind, right? That's it. That's the only thing I can use the rabbit hole for. The rabbit hole cannot be used for the 24 hours a day that I'm going to look forward to spending with my family or the moments in conversation that I get with them.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's there's another good book that kind of puts it into perspective. It's like 4,000 weeks. Is it?
Oh, you told me about. I have that on my list. You told me about that one before,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean that kind of says like puts it into perspective of like how long you have to live, but it's more of a productivity kind of thing for me. Like that book was like, oh yeah, really cool. Like this, how much time you have in this earth. Like let's get as much done as we can. But the Warm at the Core was like more like, okay, you know, the end could be anytime. We have to be.
You live
You
one
know,
day at a time, fully every single day.
You have to be like okay with
Yep.
you know if you're gone tomorrow kind of thing, right?
The most important thing for me is knowing when you feel the negative type emotions, right? If like I put every single like piece of emotional psychology that I feel on blast. If I feel resentment, anger, fear, I identify them and I immediately wipe them. Or I try to focus it in and go and do whatever. If it's an argument with someone, if I'm pissed off from something that happened yesterday, I immediately go and talk about it because that's a waste of time to
Yeah.
feel that way. And it's not the way we're meant to be.
Another thing, yeah, like the way we perceive, you know, conversation with people, and many times it's like you hear something and you fill in the blanks of what that person is saying, and it's always better to just ask and say, hey, what do you mean? Right?
Listen, man,
Because
listening skills, so
one-
important.
Oh my god, the
Very.
other day,
So important.
before the holiday, our manager messaged me something, and I just threw it right back at him, and I said, "Please tell me what you mean before I assume." You know, like and he called me, and then it was totally not what I was thinking, and it was so cool because it's like, oh, you know, like I'm glad I you know approached it and really just put
Yeah.
it out there, like, hey, you know, that wasn't clear to me, and if I leave it to me to decide what that means, it might go down a bad, you know, kind of the way that I feel about this, and it was totally not that, and you know, he explained it well, and
Yeah.
that was good.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I always like if I'm not following exactly, and you guys probably will catch me do this all the time. If I'm not following what someone's saying, I try to. So, if I understood you correctly, this is what you're saying, and then
Yeah.
I summarize it, and either I
Yes.
get a yes or no, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a nice way of saying I don't understand what the hell you're talking about.
That's a boss move, P. That's a boss move.
Yeah.
So that's something you learn over time to
Yeah.
do once you're out there in the world for a very long time. And I just started understanding this the last couple of years was listen, keep your mouth shut, listen the whole
Yeah.
time until everyone is done speaking. Summarize everything that was just said. Let other people who are smarter than you fill in those gaps, who have more knowledge in the subject.
It's hard
Then
though.
you bring it
We
on.
speak a lot. We talk a
We
lot.
we do, but
Assume
I've gotten.
nothing.
I've-
Assume nothing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Assume nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a negotiation tactic. I forgot. Take no for an answer. Don't take no for an answer. I forgot the name of the book too, but like it's this FBI negotiator. Never split the difference. That's the name of the book. Really, really.
I
good.
you're like you got a plethora of just awesome books. Like
Dude,
everything
that's
you've recommended
another-
so far is
It's
good.
I love
I'm adding
books.
it to the list.
I love listening to books, and I don't
Yeah.
like fiction
No, not at all.
No.
I have to throw it in once in a while. I can't. It gets.
I like listening to productive books. I like listening to, even if it's history, I like listening to stuff, that's,
Listen to Steve Jobs, the biography. It's
I
awesome.
haven't heard
It's
that.
well
But
done, man.
go
It's a
back.
good one.
The negotiation tactic is mirroring, which is
Yeah.
basically
Do what they're doing. Yeah.
do that what they're doing, but also repeat it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in a negotiation and they throw a number to you, say, it's like, okay, well, this is gonna be, $20,000, whatever, right? And you look at them and just without any expression, just be like $20,000, and just stay quiet. And either it'll make them really uncomfortable, and to the point that they'll negotiate a better deal, or they'll explain better what the value is that comes with that, and they'll fill it in, and why is it worth it, and all this stuff to make you feel better, or you just walk away from that.
So that gives you a lot of information,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Based on what
so-
they do. If they start to lower the number, it means that they don't have a complete understanding of what's being discussed, right?
Well, no, it's just a way of like whether it's like salary negotiation or anything like that, and throwing in like the fairness thing. There's all these different tactics. I remember when we have a mutual friend. I won't say who, but he was negotiating a salary thing and all that stuff, and I was like throwing like everything from from that book, to just be like, okay,
Nice.
here's what you got to do. Here's what you got to come with. Here's what you can't just go on emotions on this. You can't say because I deserve it. Like it has to be all like
Based on facts.
based on
Yeah.
facts, and all that stuff. And at the same time, here's some tactics that you can use, to get it higher and all that stuff. It didn't go the way that he wanted to, but like that allowed him to go into somewhere else and negotiate something better and all that stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, so Jose, I think I read the same book. So one of the other tactics I think that they went into was, if you want someone to agree with you, you just start to nod your head like yes, right? Was that one of them?
I
Like,
I don't
Like, if
remember
you-
that, but I do remember there was the no concept. Like basically, when we want people to agree or go into something, like yes is kind of a trap. So, for example, somebody calls you on the phone and
Yeah.
tells you, "Would you like to lower your monthly electrical bill?" And if you say yes, you already feel like you're giving the power to them. And it's like, yeah, this is a stupid question. Yes, of course, but like I know this is scam. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. But like if you flip it around and get them to say no, then it's then they feel like they have the power. So switch the question around to where they say no, not for the same question, but switch it around to the point where they're saying no to things, and then they feel like they have the power. But really, you're like engaging them to negotiate to get more.
So like, hey, would you want your power bill to go up? No.
No.
Would that
Right?
be is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know what the
Alright.
exact example for something like that would be, but yeah, like that would be a no answer, right? Because the person then feels, so instead of saying to you, "Do you have 5 minutes?" Right? Like
Right.
that's a big one, right? Where people always come out to you and say,
course.
"Oh, do you have
Yeah.
5 minutes?" And in your head it's like,
5 minutes
"I
is a
do,
long
but I don't
time.
want to talk to you." This and
5
that,
minutes
and
is
all
a long time.
Yeah.
What I do, and I got this from watching like the greatest sales. So I read about it in the Greatest Salesman Ever book. That's an awesome book. But they talk about this in cold call salesmen use this. They're like, they'll call someone and they'll be like, "Hi, my name is so and so. Do you have 30 Can I have 30 seconds of your time?" And if they give them a yes or no, they're happy with a no. But the few yeses that they get, they can give their line in 30 seconds and see if there's interest. And then it turns into a longer conversation. So you got to set that bar much lower. 5 minutes in anybody's time is a long time.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's that, but like usually when approaching people that you work with and all this stuff, it's always like, "Hey, do you have 5 minutes to this?" Instead of doing that, hey, I would like to take your time because I have this and that to talk about, blah blah, blah, and just lay it out instead of saying, "Do you have 5 minutes?"
I like to prime the conversation, but like either when you have time or I need a few minutes to discuss A, B, and C. And then if you can just answer it quickly or we need to have a discussion, we're good.
Yeah.
Last resort is a meeting for me.
Or I'll just straight up say that it's not a yes or no question. It's like,
Yeah.
I need 5 minutes of your time. You know, and then it becomes
Mm-hmm.
different. And it's a good reminder every once in a while because sometimes I'll fall back into, do you have 5 minutes? Or, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Like,
Now I got to catch myself because I do that all the
If
time.
I'm
Yeah.
if
That's a
I'm
good one.
in work and I'm asking for someone's time, it means that I don't know the answers to the questions or I need my answers validated by someone else.
Right.
So I don't do something wrong. Right. That's where it is. So saying I need your time is because I consider you the subject matter expert or have enough expertise to validate my assumptions.
yeah,
And when you understand that the value in that communication, that makes the short time of the meeting extremely valuable
yeah,
for everyone. I do that all the time.
yeah. I don't like to also put meetings where it's like, take up the whole half hour or hour. It's like if I'm asking you for, the 5 minutes, I'm gonna keep it 5 minutes, and I'm gonna say, okay,
Yes.
here's a problem that we're having. Here's a couple solutions that I already explored. Can you help me out with this, or do you mind if I bring in this person and that person so we can stop the he said she said kind of thing and just boom 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 get it done, right? And then it's like
That's super effective. Yeah, that's super effective, right? Like get the right people in the room to just hash it out. Like, yeah,
yeah,
just get it done.
yeah. But yeah, books. That's another resolution per se. I mean, I do read a lot or listen to a lot, but I want more. You know,
I was gonna ask, do you guys buy physical copies of books? Because
Not
like
anymore.
I
Not
got this thing
anymore.
not
where
anymore.
No?
Horrible.
I want
None.
to. I really want to have like a library with real books, but honestly, like I read in multiple different locations. I need access all the time, and I'm just not going to carry
we
a
have
book
a
around.
library. Like, off the living room, we have a library, and my wife
Yeah.
has tons and tons of books. But and I've bought a couple when some books mean a lot, and I like
Yeah.
I want a physical copy, even if I'm not gonna like open it up. It's like, okay, I have heard the book, but it means a lot to me. I want a physical copy of that. I don't know. It's more nostalgia than
I have
Well, yeah,
plans
well-
when I'm like retired to have like a robe and a pipe and a library and have only hard bound leather books that I read by a fireplace.
yeah. I'm not a big reader. I can't. I don't have the attention span for reading.
I can sit for a
listening,
while.
Listening is
I do two things. So one of my ways to hack the game, so to speak, is I'll have an Audible book, right? And if you have it like Audible book, like, and you want to get through it quickly, like I'll just buy the digital book for like half. You get even more off from Amazon, and I read and listen, and I just get double the amount of time in.
Wait. Run that back for me.
All right,
one more time.
so I'll download The Psychology of Money, right? Which is a
Right.
great book. It's a shorter book, but it's good.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn everything there was about it because I was going through like all finance books last year,
Right,
all the
right.
greatest finance books, and I started to read that. Or like The Intelligent Investor. That's a difficult long book to read. Like it gets tedious at times. So I was listening to it, and then via WhisperSync on Amazon, I would download the Kindle version, and they would mirror each other. So I would read and listen and get like extra time in on the book, so I could.
Oh,
So it
that's a
didn't get
good
so
idea.
monotonous. Like
Yeah.
listening to a finance book, you're like,
It's brutal.
yeah,
Brutal.
like, only some are done well, but like reading it is much, much different. So I'll do that. When I listen wholeheartedly, usually it's some type of like, it'll usually be fiction or really, really good nonfiction, like Steve Jobs autobiography or something like that, that really holds my attention. So that's kind of how I game reading now.
the only.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Jose, I'm like you. To your point, like I buy books that that mean something to me, right? Like if I look on the shelf now, like I I got Young. I got
The
I've got
psychologist, Young.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
he's awesome.
Meditations. Marcus Aurelius. So Art of War, Sun Tzu. Like I like to just open them up. I like to just open them up and just like pick a page and just read it. And because I try to read Meditations once a
Nice.
year, just go back through it and reread it because it's like one of those things where like you forget it and you have to constantly remind yourself, you know.
I heard there was a video of like Arnold Schwarzenegger meeting the guy from Daily Stoic or something like that.
Oh, awesome.
And he
Yeah.
said he had the leather bound on his kitchen table, and he every single day he'll pick it up and just like look through, and all this stuff. And
No, that's what I do. I just take it off the shelf. I'll just open it up to a random page,
yeah,
and I feel like it means something. Like I'm supposed to read that for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
that's real
So
cool.
I like doing that
that's
with
good.
religious texts, all of them, because they all like I'll do it, and then
That's one thing I downloaded the Holy Bible on Audible. So normal books
that's-
are like, you know,
yeah,
8 hours.
no, that's going
4
to take
hours.
forever.
80 hours.
Yeah,
80 hours
Pretty much.
for the Holy Bible. And I'm like, all right, let's get started. Yeah,
I can't front to back it. I need to study it more than front to back it. So like always around Christmas time, I'll go through the apostles, like the New Testament, the beginning of the New Testament. Then like I like going back to like Genesis and Exodus, like
Yeah.
especially Leviticus. Like there's the things that I love about the Old Testament, the simple nature of the lesson. Like in Leviticus, right? God, everyone's like, why is God explaining like don't eat sharks? I'm like, well, they're poisonous and they kill you if you try and catch them, right? Like there's all these common lessons that are like, he's like, hold on, everyone. Like,
Well-
and when you think about it, right? There wasn't a lot of people on Earth, so they couldn't be messing with like heavy predators around that time, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, right?
I like to your point, the Old Testament God totally different from New Testament God. I mean,
Yeah.
he was kind of brutal. Like if you think about it, I mean, yeah.
Yo,
Just kinda
at
brutal.
one point, I think it's in the end of Leviticus or something, and this is after like exit, like
I think the whole thing, it's like, like you have to see it in context of the whole book, right? There's,
Yes.
there's people who are like, oh, well, the Holy Bible advocates for slavery because it talks about it. It's like, yeah, but it also talks about murder and stealing and rape and them getting punished. The whole thing of like Exodus is like, like freeing the slave and walking the desert for 40 days. It's like
because they couldn't get it right.
yeah,
as a
like it's
community,
like you
right?
got to look at it in context
Yeah.
and see the whole thing. But yeah, like I mean, growing up Catholic, and I've heard pretty much everything about it. I be truthful, I don't think I ever read the Bible though. Like I've read in pieces.
Oh,
Pieces,
yeah, same
that's
thing.
that's what a lot of
I
it is.
know
what I've done.
like pretty much from the back of my hand,
Yeah.
like everything. But like it's just one of those things that I'm like, okay, time to get it in.
So Jose, were you an altar boy too?
No,
No.
no.
So, all right.
So you guys,
So I'm the only one.
have you guys ever read Enoch?
No,
Have you ever questioned what books got into the Bible and which ones were left out?
no.
Look into it. It's interesting. So basically, over 400 years, a bunch of kings and scholars were like, "This is what should be in the Bible," and they decided it.
Yeah.
Based on what they liked, right? So certain things were left out of the Bible, and there's one book. It's extremely interesting that was left out on purpose, and it's the Book of Enoch. Enoch was Moses' grandfather, who got to go up to heaven, learn everything about what it was about, and then come back down to earth. But he learned so much more. And the stories conflict about like the flood and what happened in the Bible with what Enoch experienced. Like the reason for the flood wasn't like that, all the people were bad. It was that like some rogue angels got down to earth and started like birthing giants who were eating people after they ate all the animals. And it's crazy. And the flood in Enoch, the flood happens to essentially like all these battle angels gather these giants in a big pit, and God sends the flood, drowns them in this pit, and they're immortal. They can't die. So they're covered in here and locked in like the middle of the earth. And that's the reason for the flood, which coincides with what Moses says. Now, when you think about it, from even a Catholicism or religious standpoint, right, it is much easier to control a population of people when they think they're bad and need to be forgiven. So now you have set up a leadership structure that says, we have the power to show you a good life. We can tell you how to act and keep you in line so you don't go to war. You don't create famine, right? That's much different than saying the mystical, immortal giants, you know, we had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
What was the name for the giants? Was it like Nephilim?
They were the
or
Nephilim.
something? I feel like
the Nephilim. Yeah.
I feel like I did read that. And the Fall of the Watchers, is that?
Yup, yeah.
Is that it?
So-
all right, so yeah, I think I did.
The
Or at
Watchers
least a portion
basically
of it.
don't, they get envious of human men having wife and children, and they don't have any, so they come down to take human wives and have children. But their children are giants, which are the Nephilim, and they're like bloodthirsty. They eat everything. They run out of food on the earth, so they start eating people. But those angels, those same Watchers, bring knowledge, forbidden knowledge that they shouldn't have, like war and things like that. Like we were never meant to know those things yet.
I like, you know, so you know, we don't consider ourselves like super religious. Like we don't go to church and all this stuff. I grew up Catholic. We, you know, we're kind of like in the eves and flows of, you know,
Spiritual.
religion
Yeah.
in our family. And yeah, like I like the stories. I like the messages and everything like that. In college, I took this world religion course, which was really, really cool because it started like tying together, like, you know, the time that Jesus is not present, like from 18 to 35 or something like that, right? Or 33, right? And then why was he away? And like some scholars think that he was away because his mother Mary used to like pressure him into getting married, and that wasn't his purpose in life. And so he ran away and went into Asia and met with monks and all that stuff. And that's why certain parts of the book after he comes back, it's like has these influence of like, you know, Buddhism and all that stuff. And it's really, really cool to like have those kind of like scholar view of religion. If you guys know Jordan Peterson,
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
love the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he has these great talks on the Bible. And I mean, just listening to the guy talk, it's like
He's
you have
smart.
to, like, you have to listen like 50 times to actually understand. 'Cause the way that he like spins off into these things and then brings it all back together and like ties it out. It's like
Dude,
beautiful.
he even does. He will rip apart even like Pinocchio.
right?
Right?
Oh, I
Like-
love it.
His analysis of it is just, it's mind blowing.
Oh,
Like,
I
but you're
love
like,
it.
this is
Like-
this is next level. Like this
Yeah.
dude really put thought into this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's a very smart guy. He's
Yeah.
a very smart psychologist.
Yeah. So yeah, like those are books that I bought and have it like physical copy, like, you know, the 12 Rules
Oh,
of
12 Rules?
Lie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and the other one, Beyond the 12 Rules or something like that it's called.
Actually, so Raj, that's where I got the whole scheduling thing. Like, you know how I'm insane about scheduling out time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm always trying to figure out how do I hack time. And that was one of the things, is keep a schedule, maintain it, and do everything, you know, like all those minutes throughout the day.
Yeah.
That's the vast majority of your life. Like, use that time wisely.
Yeah.
Tie a dollar amount to every minute of your life, and it changes your perspective.
That's why
For
Atomic
sure.
Habits made a big impact on how I get things done. Because I learned one thing from that book that was super helpful, and it was called an implementation technique. And it basically just says, you know, you can habit stack, right? So you say, like, at this time of the day in this location, after I do this habit, I will do this new habit. And you keep it up to 5 minutes, right? And how that worked out for me last year was that's how I started getting healthy and working out. I said, before I go to work in my office, I will stretch and work out. Here it was like, get a roller. It started like that. It started real simple. right? And I had that written down on paper on my desk every day, and that would happen every day. That turned into going to the gym, which turned into coming here, which turned into so now, I keep stacking stuff. I wake up a little earlier and I do even more. Like I'll read before I start work. I practice typing now because I think it makes me faster at what I do.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's awesome. Well, they say you got to tell someone something or yourself I think,
Absolutely.
7 times, right,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
it becomes real. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a good. I'm making a note for that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, check out
Write it
Atomic
down,
Habits.
so
That's
it's right in your face.
yeah,
Yeah, that's David Goggins had that thing. It's like in his book,
Yeah.
like write it on a sticky note, like you're a fat ass, and just put it in the mirror. So every day when you wake up and you're brushing your teeth, it's just staring back at you,
Yeah.
like you're so fat, blah blah blah, like all this stuff.
Well,
It's
I
like-
loved his one thing. He said, "You gotta wake up every day and do one thing that you hate doing."
oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
And I every single day, one thing I gotta
one
do
thing you
something
hate.
I hate doing.
yeah. But like in all seriousness, though, that whole like negativity, like that works for some people and some for other people, no, right? Like some people shut down when they hear the negativity, and some people like spark up.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, "F no, yes, of course I can get it done," right?
Yeah.
Like I'm totally the like I need the negativity to light that acid, like that fire in my ass, like when I used to like basically really be committed to like losing when I was like 250 and like trying to lose weight. Like one of the things I would do was wake up and just like be like, that's it, you gotta go to the gym, you're gonna be fat forever, like, and just like just put myself down to the point that I'm getting up.
Well, you know what? It's funny you say that because remember that whole debacle with Elon, and somebody snapped a picture of
Oh,
him.
yeah,
He was
on the
out on
yacht.
like a boat,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Well, how did that make you feel?" He was like, because people were making fun of him, right?
Yeah.
He was pasty, he was overweight, right? He was like, "It drove me to get in shape." He's
Yeah.
like, "Look at me now."
Yeah.
So
It for some people, like, I know people that that doesn't work for them. They'll completely shut down. They'll completely like, like, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't work for everybody. That whole motivation by, deprecate.
well, so that, but that's the thing. Like, and I tell everyone this: there's nothing you can say to me that I haven't already said to myself like 1,000 times over. So, like,
Yeah.
you're never gonna hurt my feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's I've said way worse to myself, but that's how you get better, right? Is by noticing your flaws and calling it out and saying, "I suck here. Like, I need to get
Yeah.
better." Right?
Yeah.
So I use two things. So the negativity thing doesn't work with me.
No?
It's not that I get down. I just don't care. Like I shut off a little bit. I'm like, whatever. Like that's not like here. So I do this. I play the tape until the end of the story in my mind. If I don't work out, and I do it over a long period of time, and I'm not healthy, and I don't watch what I eat, and my cholesterol gets higher and my sugars get higher, and then I develop diabetes and heart disease, and I die when I'm 65, would I be happy looking back from a hospital bed at 65 years old when it was something I could have changed, like heart disease, right? No, I wouldn't. So that's what motivates me to get there. I have to play that. I have to get all the way to the end of that, though. And I have to specifically see what's going to happen over time, like have a mental picture of it. Then it builds motivation. That's how I build motivation.
So you got to convince yourself, essentially.
It's not even convincing. It's building up the proof that it needs to happen, or something very uncomfortable that I don't want for me and my family will occur.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to take that idea of playing the tape to the end, like go through the whole story, see it, and then make a small change in the beginning. Because you can't, if you try and, most people when they start to take on any type of like difficult task that's out of the norm, give up on it because it's hard to make it a habit because it's too big. It's too big for you to wrap your mind around or devote that much time to. So you have to do it in minutes. It's minutes of change each day that builds a habit. And after like 20 days, right, you start to really like, get it down. The other thing is that the reason I started exercising wasn't to become physically fit. It was the emotional benefits I get from it. Stress relief, no anxiety. My memory works a little better. Like everything just, I feel more emotionally healthy than I ever have. That's why I work out. That's the real reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Because my knee was hurting today when we were doing stuff. Like it felt like Velcro was ripping inside my knee. I was like, but my brain feels really good afterwards.
Oh, you like this, Piero? We have a big, heavy 100-pound canvas bag for like.
Oh, nice.
And every once in a while, my son will be like, "Can you hang it up for me?" And so I hang it up. And today I go to take it down, and I see there's little blood on on the canvas from him hitting.
He's going hard at it.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Well,
He
not
looked-
so nice because like he struggles dry skin, and so his knuckles are just bleeding. I'm like, oh man.
Well, I was telling Roger the other day. So when I was younger, we had a boxing club down the street, and my father he used to fight down in Atlantic City on the board back when they used to have the rings out there, and people could bet on the fights and stuff like that.
That was
So
awesome.
he actually used to box, and he got me into boxing. I mean, he would throw me into the ring with these just bigger guys to spar, and I would just get my essentially the shit kicked out of me over and over and over again. But it definitely it was good at the time. I didn't like it, but now I'm glad that he made me do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
one
that
of
now
those-
he's like, like he wants to do something else. Like,
Yeah.
so he's like, oh, he's like, okay, maybe not jujitsu, maybe like boxing or Krav Maga or something like that. And I told him like, right now you're at a point where you planted a seed and there's this tree growing,
Yeah.
and you're not, and you think you're not seeing the tree, but it's really growing and growing. And every time you go to class and every time you drill, like
Yeah.
you're watering it, and the sprouts are starting to come out. And if you let go this tree to go plant a new seed, it's gonna take you another year before you even see the benefits of like boxing or Krav Maga or anything else you take on, right? You can do that alongside of it, but like basically if you do both of it and like really expand your horizons, you're gonna grow much faster into any sport because you can put your commitment to it. And it was a very interesting conversation with him because he went from like that's it, I'm done, to I suck, to I don't suck, to like it's like all kinds of roller coasters of emotion of whether he's gonna keep jujitsu or not. And it was like I'm like, go downstairs, hit the bag, like go on YouTube, watch the foot drills. Foot drills are like 99% of boxing. The punching part is easy. It's the foot that like basically the foot, like all this stuff
Footwork,
that they do,
yeah.
footwork. That's what you gotta get down. Like go do that. And it's like
You gotta have the stamina,
Yeah.
right? Like you'd be surprised. Throw 4 or 5, punches in a row
Yeah.
with all your force. You're gonna get tired out real quickly.
Yeah.
Knowing how to pace yourself is
Yeah, no, I mean this is
incredibly
good for
important.
that too. But like basically the part is like footwork, for boxing. It's like if you want Krav Maga, we could do that. I've done it. I did it for like 4 or 5 years, and all this stuff. Before, like I can teach you some stuff and everything.
Well, but how do you feel about your son getting into? Because like I'm either trying to get him to go the jujitsu route, which he doesn't seem to be a fan of, but he really likes the box. He likes to hit the bag. He enjoys it, but I also don't want him, getting punched repeatedly in the head like I did. Because look, he's only 10, right? Like I don't know what kind of damage that's gonna do. So like, you got any concerns there, or?
I do, and I told him like, hey, like not so much concern, but more like, you complain today whenever I tell you go wear a mouth guard when
Yeah.
drilling, and all that stuff that it bothers you and all that stuff. In boxing, you will have to wear a mouth guard. There is no
Absolutely.
ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? And with your braces and all that stuff, it's like it's gonna be something that you will get punched and you will get, there's headgear, there's everything. It's not so much like I'm concerned of him getting hit. Like, it's like, okay, you're gonna get hit. It's like, yeah, learn to protect yourself. You know,
Yeah.
same thing
Well,
in jiu-jitsu. You're gonna get smashed and go into, side control and all this stuff. Learn to guard better. You know, like there was this one time where my son was actually being the one. There's something called a knee cut where you cut across the thigh with your knees to get to the side and control the person. And my son was just spamming that move and not really doing it correctly, to the point where when he was cutting through the knee, it was sliding down and hitting the kid in the nuts. And the the coach just be like, well, get a better guard. And so there's that, where it's like, okay, like, you're gonna get punched. It's okay. I mean, it's not gonna be, crazy amount of, where he's having, unless he goes the professional route, right?
So Pierre, it's about force, right? So I played ice hockey from a young age to an old age,
Yeah.
and ice hockey is a game where I got hit so hard that I would
Right.
be injured. I wouldn't be able to breathe, and then also too, there'd be games where I got punched in the face a lot for fighting, right?
Right.
And there's no gloves, there's no mouth, there's no guards, right? It's being legit punched, and I came out of that okay. Did I get injuries? Yes. Did I have surgeries? Yes.
But let me throw
came
this
out
out
okay.
there. But like, you think those gloves add any sort of protection? Like, I would argue
So
that
they do more
it's just
damage,
as
right?
powerful.
Like,
Yeah.
No,
because
what I'm
you're
saying-
throwing harder punches because your hand is
Yeah.
not feeling right.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is they'll have headgear on too, right?
They'll have headgear on.
Right. There's, and when you learn how to take the hit,
There-
right, you don't get thrown in and just.
There's a little bit of that, like, you have to let the kid understand that,
They're not made of glass.
Yeah.
you know.
It's like anything. It's
and
it's
since you
easing
can't
into
legally,
training,
like,
right?
punch him, you put him somewhere else for somebody else to. I'm kidding. No, I would never. But there is that. It builds character.
Yeah. Well, do you
Discipline, too,
do you
man.
wrestle with the boys with yours? Because
Yeah.
I'm constantly just getting Piero in headlocks, throwing him around. Like,
Oh,
dude, we
yeah.
have a blast.
Jordan Peterson talks about this, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
right?
playing with kids. Yeah, absolutely.
playing
Like,
with
you have
kids
to
and
yeah.
getting them to, like, kind of like have this play fight kind of thing, and
understand force and when it's too much.
force, everything, right? So it's a constant thing. We were like, always like, like, he's always trying to grab my back. He's always like, even if I hug him, he goes for an underhook, and like,
Nice.
and just like, 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 so it's, there's that's play fighting and all that stuff, and we've gotten to the point where that whole, understanding force thing. Like,
Yeah.
my son was like getting into boxing, and he was like, like, I wanna, and I was just like, like, kind of tapping his head and just
Right,
protecting.
right.
And then he was coming in like full force at me, and he was already like 12. So
You had to give it back a little
like,
bit.
no, no, it's not even that. It's just like I was like, dude, take it easy. And then like he came in like full force, and I just got mad, and I like tripped him forward, held him down, and I was like, I told you to take it easy, because you can't do this. You can't go, like. And then he understood. He's like, oh, like, if I want to, like, I could. Like, this is not a game anymore. Like,
Yeah,
like,
I could hurt.
Yeah, like
You can
don't
inflict some
understand-
damage.
You don't understand like what you're doing, and other stuff. And then he said, "I'm sorry." He's like, "All right, let's just do tapping." He's like, "We can do this, but you have to play with the rules of the game, right?" And he understood where to dial it back, where to do this, and everything like that. Go ham on the bag. Don't go ham on your drilling partner.
Right.
Same thing in jiu-jitsu, right? Like we go in there, we practice with our partners and all this stuff, and it's not about hurting them. It's about doing the technique right, and all that stuff, and getting the submission as soon as they tap, like, you let go. It's the same thing in boxing, right? Like, it's not about hurting your partner. It's about doing the technique right.
Yeah,
It's like
building that muscle memory.
Yeah, so
That's
just
why I like jujitsu. I like the problem solving of it, right? Like
yeah.
you can get into some like really complex, right?
I
Like
told
move
Roger
sets.
this month they're having a thing. You can bring a friend for free. You know.
Oh, I would love to see Rod. I
See,
would
I
love
would
to
love to
see
see
Rod.
Raj balled up on
I
the
would
mat.
love to see Rod. Definitely not, dude. Yeah, that would be that
So
would be
I,
good.
I extended out to Roger. I said, "Hey man, come on, every day of the month.
Piero seems like he has the most interest in jiu-jitsu.
Hey man, you willing to make the
I
trip? Come on."
I I, I definitely have interest in it.
What had happened was
What had happened was I am lazy when it comes to stuff like that. I'm putting so much time into like AI, and I'm doing the AI certification, which
you
Roger
got to
will
send
still
me
owe
that
you.
stuff, man. I thought we were gonna be
Yeah,
study buddy.
we are. I got all my notes. It's in a loop. I'll drop
I
it
just want
to
to do
you.
it together to keep me doing it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. No, we'll keep it going. Um, but yeah, I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I'll get that over to you. But time. It's a time thing, right? It's like
Yeah.
I'm putting so much time into that, and plus I'm working on like building out applications and learning more about that, and it just so much of my focus is on that right now. I don't want to. I don't want to. I feel like it's moving so fast. I can't. I'm not willing to sacrifice time for something else for that right now.
Yeah.
But hopefully I get to that point. I want to for sure. Because I like I said, I want to get little people to. But
Yeah.
that's the other thing. Trying to get him. I've been planting the seed for a while. He seems to really like the boxing, but like he doesn't want to get hit. That's his biggest fear is
Are
like
you
getting hit. Which
near?
is like we fight all the time. Like what's the difference?
Are you near East Brunswick? Or
Oh yeah. Well, maybe about 20 minutes. Not far.
okay. Sundays I started New Year's Eve. There was a open mat there. There's this very famous Jason Scully. He has a gym there
Oh,
called
nice.
Rebel Jiu Jitsu, and so I'll be going there hopefully tomorrow if I have time. But yeah,
Well, so here was my plan for trying to convince him. Tell me if this is the right way. What you guys think? So what I want to do is just say, hey, we're doing it. I'm not even going to make it an option. I'm going to say, if you hate it after doing it one time, you don't have to do it again. But I want you to at least try it. Just try it once.
yeah,
I think that's
I let
fair,
him.
right?
I think it takes 3 to 5 times to wear out if you like it or not. So, my daughters, right?
I'm the worst. This is like we're like you're doing this for a year, whether you
like it or not. So
Yeah, see, no, and that's the perspective that I'm looking for. Am I being too nice? Like he needs to do something
Oh,
outside of
so the
playing
little one
video
just
games.
quit. Yeah, the little one just quit jiu-jitsu. I mean, after
Oh, he did.
what,
But he
I
did
mean,
his year. He did his year like you
nah,
asked him to.
less than that. He did maybe I want to say 9 months.
But at least he gave it a shot,
So
right? Like
I
that's
mean,
a
but
good
like it
shot.
was already like okay, he clearly doesn't want to be here, and
Right.
it's not it's unfair to him. It's unfair to other people. Like
Right.
who's there. So it's like okay, but you can't do nothing. Right.
Right, you can't do nothing.
So pick something else, and let's see.
So what's he doing?
Let's see.
We
Like
said
we're
soccer,
trying
didn't
to. Yeah, he likes soccer.
Soccer's
he
good.
does that. Like
That's
but
good.
It's
That can be a
usually
thing.
like, spring, summer,
Right.
stuff like that, and fall. But no winter. So it's like he was like maybe tennis. So I was like, yeah, cool, love tennis.
this is cool.
What are you guys most excited about in 2024?
Man, my wife graduated nursing school. That was a
that's
big
big
part
one.
of our 5-year plan, and it's coming to fruition. It's on point. So it's going to be a
Congrats to her.
big deal. It's going to be a real big deal.
That's huge. That is huge, man. I'm excited for you guys.
I'm excited
It's
for
gonna be
her.
great.
She is already already great, like medically minded. She's going to be a fantastic nurse. She definitely has what it takes. She thinks like a nurse. She diagnoses like a nurse. Anytime anyone in memory for me asks her a question, what do you think of this? I have these symptoms. She is right 100% of the time. She knows exactly what to tell them, what doctor to go to, what
I've
to
hit
do.
you up. Yeah.
Yeah, Piero hits me up. He's like, yo, little P fell, his head's pretty jacked up. And Lauren got on the phone, was like, do A, B, and C. It's fine. You don't even need to go to the doctor. It does look like a deep cut, but it's not that bad.
We have
split his whole chin open.
Yeah, and
It
he was good
bad.
though.
we
He was
had
all
that.
right.
He was good.
He was good.
But
Yeah.
we have this joke with my wife of like, like medical professionals when they're like, oh yeah, you can ask me anything. It's like, can you please take a look at my hemorrhoids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, 2024, what about you, P?
Oh, come on. I'll give you guys one guess. Come on. You don't know
AI.
me at all.
AI
Yes.
certification.
Yes.
AI
Well,
certification.
not the AI certificate. That's a small part of it. I am incredibly excited about where AI is going.
Yeah.
I feel like we are like we're about to witness something that's going to change humanity. And I mean, you guys probably already saw. Maybe you didn't catch the news article, but Google's laying off 30,000
Yeah.
of their employees to replace with AI. So
Oh man.
Yeah.
it's getting scary, and I think that there's some very big changes coming.
Wow.
So really excited about.
Really excited about firing people. I see.
No,
RP.
no, no, no. No, I think really interested in being around. Like this is when the car was invented and horse and buggies got
Yeah.
replaced, or electricity came.
No,
Like
definitely.
I
It's
equate it to
huge,
those.
huge,
Yeah.
huge. Stuff happening in there. I don't know,
It's just
man.
awesome to be alive during this time. Yeah.
I really don't know what to look.
Come on, there's got
forward
to be
to.
something. Jose.
Oh,
One thing.
I'm
What?
looking forward to AI. I use it all the time. I constantly hand off things for it to do. I use it as an idea generator. It's helped me.
No, it's definitely a great tool that I've used.
But I'm looking
like, I don't
forward
know, I
to
don't know.
playing music again. I restringed my acoustic guitar, and I played
Yes.
guitar my whole life, and I kind of stopped playing the last couple years when life got busy. But I'm going back to it, and I'm also going to start sketching again, drawing.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to make use of all the art stuff I know.
Raj, we got to start the band, man.
It's like,
I got
dude,
keyboards, drums, guitar. You can do all
Dude,
that.
we'll get masks, and we'll just be like a Swedish metal band.
Like Gwar.
Yeah, oh,
remember
Gwar are
Gwar,
my
dude?
favorite, dude. They douse the audience with
cowbell for
fake
me?
blood. Yeah,
Yeah.
more cowbell.
More cowbell.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, like, just living life, man. That's all. Looking forward to hopefully still be alive.
Getting better at
Yeah, just-
jujitsu, getting more
yeah.
mobile.
Yeah, no, I mean
dropping a couple pounds.
just in general.
Yeah,
Let's get ripped this year.
It's the plan.
it's awesome.
Before we can't, right? Get ripped before you can't.
Yeah, man. No, I'm serious about it this time. Like it's like okay, like
What?
I know I'm at a point in my life that if I commit to something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, at best, my life's half over, man. That's why I realized I was like, dude, I got less than half left, man.
I see glass half empty here.
Yeah, this glass is half empty, man. I got to get going.
All right, man. Well, with that, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, man.
Thank you,
Guys, always good to talk to you.
Great talking
love
to
it.
you guys.
Peace out.
Bye.
Peace out.